What's going on, guys? El Tiburon here with another Games I Beat video, 2024 edition. Let's get to it. Before we get started, it is tradition around here to have a little beverage right here. Little IPA, if you will. We got a offshoot beer, relax hazy IPA, and as you can tell, there's a giant shark there, about to devour someone on a little floaty. Shades of the Jaws poster. So had to pick this one up. Let's do a little pour here. By the way, check out this mug I got from my comadre right here, as a late Christmas gift. Let's put the beer next to the mic here to get that pour. Ain't that the best sound you ever heard? Oh, whoa, the head. Swig a beer for the gamers out there. Swig a beer for all the fellow geeks out there. Swig a beer for all the VHS trash collectors. Swig a beer to all you guys out there. Ah, delicious. All right, let's get right to it. Let me go through the games I beat this year. First game I beat was a co-op game, Broforce, on the Xbox Series X. I beat this back in January. I beat this with my friends Killer and Billy. Shout out to Killer and Billy. 3-player co-op game. I'm always playing and beating one campaign game and one co-op game concurrently. This was the first game where, and it's always Killer and myself playing a co-op game. I think we've been doing that. I don't know, maybe he can let me know in the comments, but we've probably been doing that for like a decade now. For a long time, maybe longer than that. But this time Billy, my friend the Billster, wanted to jump in, and we're like, hey, jump in. So since then, our little co-op sessions have gotten bigger, and it didn't stop there. I'll get to that later. Yeah, but Broforce on the Xbox Series X, I don't own it. That's something I also thought would be fun to show. Like, if how many of these games do I actually own physically? I don't own this one. This is a digital game on the Series X. I think we played this off Game Pass. Let me see. Likes: fun concept, nostalgic characters, fun co-op action, hard but fair. Yeah, this is one that really surprised me. Good thing I took notes because, like I said, I played these games a long time ago. But yeah, it has like Rambo. It has a Commando. It has a Neo from the Matrix. It even has Seth Brundle from The Fly. Who else is in there? Boondock Saints. It has everybody, but obviously they couldn't get the license for the actual character, so everyone's like a play on the word bro. So it's Ram Bro. I forgot the other ones. Command Bro. Like, they're all something with bro. So this one was, yeah, very fun game. Very fast paced, very chaotic. You're just like blowing up everything. You die a lot, but as soon as you die, like, I think I forgot if they bring you. Oh yeah, you can bring the person back to life, and it's chaos. The boss battles are fun. Um, the stages, the platforming's fun. It's just chaos. I don't know if this is the first one. I don't know if there's a part two, but if there's a part two, I need to play every installment of these games. And I think the best way to play these games are co-op. I don't think it would have been as fun to play Broforce just by myself. So dislikes, I put none. I didn't dislike anything about this game. It was fun. It's like, as you can see, I'm going to be showing footage of it here, if I haven't already showed it, but it's like 16-bit kind of graphics. I gave this a rating of 4.25 out of 5. So this was definitely a great way to start the year. Swig a beer for Broforce. Next game I played was another co-op game. So I guess this one we went back to just Killer and I playing. This was a same month Streets of Rage 3 on the Series X. Um, don't I actually do own this game on the Sega Genesis, but obviously I wouldn't be able to play that co-op with my buddy Killer over the Sega Genesis. So we played this off. I think it was off. Was it off the Streets of Rage collection? I think the Streets of Rage Sega collection. I don't know if it's that 360 version, but I think we played the easier version, which I believe I could be mistaken. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I think it's the Japanese version that's actually the easier version than the American version. So that's the one that we played because apparently part 3 US version is super brutal. So we played this over the Series X, another Series X game we played. I'm a big fan of Streets of Rage 2. I think I would say Streets of Rage 2. It's probably my favorite beat 'em up game of all time. This is one that kind of always eluded me. One that I actually did play back in the day with my buddy Roger, but I just remember we played it like maybe the first couple of stages, and I don't know if we just got bored or maybe we just couldn't beat it past the second stage and we just gave up. But this was definitely fun, but you could tell there was something a little off with it, like not as good as Streets of Rage 2. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the characters, the stages, the music. God damn, the music was horrible in this one. So let me get to the likes. I liked that it was, I put fun beat 'em up, fun characters. Like, I liked Zen and Rio. I think those are the extra characters, right? Is Zen, I think the robot, and Rio, is that the, did I write Rio or is it Rue? I don't know. The kangaroo, I think. I like that guy. Like I said, I played this a year ago. This was January 10th. We beat this last year. Dislikes. Music sucks compared to 1 and 2. Man, the music was, I think from what I understand, the composer also made the music for the other Streets of Rage games, but in this one he was trying to get like more experimental with the music, and it just sounded, I don't know, it just like there's no theme in there that was like, man, this song's a banger, like I could listen to this. I even have the damn vinyl of Streets of Rage 2. I would never buy a vinyl of Streets of Rage 3. Not as good as part 2. Yeah, so I think if maybe a Streets of Rage 2 didn't exist, this one would be, maybe I would think it's a lot better. Maybe everybody else would think it's a lot better, but Streets of Rage 2 does exist. So this is definitely like a dip. I wouldn't say it's terrible, but I wouldn't say it's great. I gave this a 3 out of 5. Makes sense. Middle of the road, you know, it's middle of the road. It's okay. Yeah, this version was, I've never beaten the other one, but apparently this one's a lot easier than the US version, just FYI. Next game I beat was Golden Axe. Golden Axe again on the Series X. I beat this online with my buddy Tylord, the Professor Tylord Stevenson. Shout out to Tylord. This is the arcade version. I mean, what can I say about Golden Axe? It's just fun gameplay, fun beat 'em up. This is another game that I never really played as a kid. I never owned it, and I don't think I knew anybody else that owned it. I think I wound up playing Golden Axe more when Summer of Arcade on the Xbox 360, when you could download, you know, like Street Fighter 2, when you could download Golden Axe, Streets of Rage 2. That's where I started playing the game, and I was like, man, this is a fun game. I wish I would have played this back in the 90s with my buddies. But yeah, let me get to the likes. Great graphics, fun co-op beat 'em up, and it's funny. Yeah, it's very. I think we were cracking up sometimes because, like, I would fall or Tylord would fall off like off the bridge, and there's like the chicken leg character. There's these two dudes that look like the Mexican Legion of Doom. Uh, Funny game, yeah, funny game. Dislikes friendly fire. Yeah, I don't really remember the friendly. I don't remember the friendly fire, but apparently that was annoying. We probably cost each other some lives there. But yeah, rating 3.7 out of 5. Fun co-op beat 'em up. It's one of those you can just go back to and play over and over, like a Streets of Rage 2, like a Final Fight. Streets of Rage 3, maybe not so much. Next game I beat, Golden Axe 2, also on the Series X. Beat this with Tylord, my buddy Tylord. This was the same night. I remember, from what I remember, this one, I'm gonna get part 2 and part 3 mixed up. But was part 2 the one with the dude that looks like the Ultimate Warrior? I know in part 2 or part 3 I used this dude that was like a barbarian guy and he looked like the Ultimate Warrior. Maybe if I read the notes I'll remember which one this one is. But I put music. Music's great. Great 16-bit graphics. Fun co-op action. Sexy deer man. I'd forgotten about the sexy deer man. Yeah, we were cracking up. There's like a sexy deer man that's wearing like some kind of speedo or like a thong or something. Yeah, dislikes friendly fire. I guess it was friendly fire this one too. I gave this one also a 3.75 out of 5. I don't remember which one part 2 was and which one part 3 is, but I'm gonna show, if I haven't already, I'm gonna show footage of the game. So after the fact, when I'm doing the editing, I'll remember. I'll be like, oh, that's part 2 and that's part 3. Next game I beat, Golden Axe 3, again with the Professor Tylord Stevenson. This was all one night. I remember we beat this. We streamed this. Very fun stream with Tylord. I gotta do that again with Tylord. Play some beat 'em ups. We did this all in one shot. I think we beat all 3 games in the matter of 3 hours, maybe 3 hours, give or take. Also on the Series X. I think this was off the Sega Genesis Golden Axe collection, just like the Streets of Rage 3 game. Likes. Love the graphics. They added new characters you can select, like a panther. Oh, caveman. That's the guy I picked. So this is part 3. The one with the caveman that looks like the Ultimate Warrior. Satisfying co-op beat 'em up. Friendly fire was my only dislike again. So all these games have friendly fire. I gave this one the highest rating of 4 out of 5. Yeah, I remember. Now I'm kind of remembering this one more. You have like that panther guy. You have the caveman Ultimate Warrior dude. The graphics are a little bit more upscale. I think this one, you guys can correct me because I'm wrong all the time. I think this was a console only game, right? Was this just only on the Sega Genesis? But yeah, really fun. This is one that I remember when we beat it. I was like, I would love to go back to this and just play it again. So shout out to my buddy Tylord Stevenson. King of the beat 'em ups there. Swig a beer to the beat 'em ups. Love me some beat 'em ups. Next game I beat, another Sega Genesis game, but this one I actually beat not on the Sega Genesis, but I beat it on the Mega SG, which is, for those of you that don't know, it's a console that's made by Analog, and it's essentially HDMI, HD, Sega Genesis. I'm a big fan of the Genesis. Might be my favorite retro console of all time. The one that I'm most nostalgic for. The one that I like to collect for the most. It's the Sega Genesis. So yeah, we actually, Billy and myself, the Billster and I, we beat this like back in the old days when you would actually sit down next to the person and do a little bit of couch co-op. He actually came over and we beat it here in this game room together. Really fun. The reason I wanted to play this with Billy actually is because there's kind of a running joke between him and I. I always remind him of when we were kids, he would only lend me Altered Beast. That's the only game he would ever lend me. So I would get a brand new game. I remember I got the Royal Rumble on the Sega Genesis. Billy would ask me, "Hey, can I borrow that Royal Rumble?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Like, what are you gonna lend me?" I'll lend you Altered Beast. And I'd be like, I think I was like, okay, I've never played Altered Beast. Yeah, sure. Lend it to me. Months later, maybe a year later, I get Mortal Kombat on the Sega Genesis. Billy's like, "Hey, can I borrow that Mortal Kombat?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. What can you lend me?" "I'll lend you Altered Beast." I'm like, I've already played that game. You've already lent it to me." And I was like, "Why can't you have other games, don't you? Can't you lend me another one?" And he's like, "Yeah, but my brother Kirby, shout out to the late great Kirby, the veteran. Um, he said my brother Kirby, his older brother, will only let me lend out Altered Beast." So I was like, oh, "Okay, gotcha." So him, I understand him being the older brother, and probably finding out that Billy was gonna be lending games. He probably didn't trust me because he didn't know me, and his brother Kirby was very protective of his stuff. Like, I remember going over to their house, and let's say when Billy would pull out the Sega Genesis, it was in its original box, in the baggies, with the little black zip ties. Like, everything was neat, everything was well taken care of. So I understand Kirby now, because I've definitely lent out games in the last 20 years, and I never get my game back. So I understand Kirby, the veteran. Yeah, so that's kind of a running joke between Billy and I. So I told him, "Dude, we gotta beat Altered Beast together. We gotta beat this one." So we beat it together, and yeah, really fun game. Back in the day, I used to hate it because that's the only game he would lend me. But in playing it now, I was like, "Dude, this is a fun game. I kind of want to go back to it and see if we can get a cleaner run of that game, because I had a lot of fun playing it." Altered Beast. Let me see what likes I put. Short. I love short games. No filler. No side missions like Spider-Man 2. Short, fun beat 'em up. Fun morphing into beasts. So yeah, you turn into like a werewolf, a freaking grizzly bear, a dragon. I forgot what else you turn into, but you guys know. If you know retro, you know this game. It's co-op. I love co-op games. I love co-op beat 'em ups. And beating it with my pal the Billster. That was fun. Dislikes? I put no dislikes. There's nothing I hated about this game. Rating 3.5 out of 5. It's a fun game. I'm drying up over here, pals. Get a little bit more IPA action in here. Oh, brother. Swig a beer for Genesis, for the Sega Genesis. I think we're just starting off with all like Sega Genesis games outside of Broforce, which definitely I could see that game on the Sega Genesis. All right, next game I beat Halo 5 Guardians on the Series X. So you know how I mentioned I'm always playing co-op games with my friend Killer, probably for the last 10 years. We had actually been going through all of the Halo games on the Master Chief Collection on the Series X, just him and I. I think we did them. We were doing them all on Legendary. And when we got to this point, our buddy, the Rye Dog, as I like to call him, Retro Ryan, hit me up, and he's like, "Hey, can I jump in with you guys?" So at this point, Billy was playing with us and Killer, and Ryan's like, "Hey, can I jump in with you guys?" I'm like, "Dude, you can jump in with us anytime. As long as there's a slot, you can jump in with us." So Retro Ryan, shout out to Retro Ryan, he jumped in with us, and yeah, this is a fun game. This is one that I didn't really have a lot of fond memories of when I first got my Xbox One, but in playing through it and playing the installment afterwards, I kind of appreciate this one a little bit more. Some of the likes: fun co-op. What's better than 2-player co-op? 4-player co-op. It's fun playing with your buddies, with your pals. Tight gameplay. Yeah, the mechanics, the shooting mechanics, all there, all fun. Great graphics, short and sweet. There's a theme here. I love. Give me some short games. I don't like these extra filler games. Just give me a good 10 hours. So you can give me a 5 hours. That's good. Don't fill it with a bunch of crap and make it like a 30-hour game. This is good. Perfect. Dislikes. Kind of anticlimactic ending. No. No and bis? Man, I can't even understand my writing. Here, I'll show a close-up shot of what the hell I wrote. I don't even know what the hell. My writing looks like Hebrew. No and bis. I don't even remember the ending. So it kind of makes sense that it's anticlimactic because I don't even remember the ending to this game. Oh, I remember. We're like, there's a cinematic and you're talking to like Cortana's mom, and then you get on a ship. And I remember um, we were just all sitting. We were like, wait, what happened?
That's it?
Well, we beat
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
What
We
the
beat
fuck?
the game.
Yeah, you sound
So,
surprised. I was like,
Wait,
Well,
what did
some remember.
who the hell did we beat?
so what happened? What was that?
Yeah, we have no clue what happened.
So what happened?
What? Who in the?
So Cortana was trying to kidnap Master Chief, but these
Kidnap?
guys, the second unit,
I think Ryan, I, and Billy were like, huh? That's the ending? Whoa, so what happened? I, I'm gonna be honest, I'm bad when it comes to paying attention to stories. I have a little bit of ADD, I think, so I kind of tuned out. Um, I'm just trying to shoot grunts, drive the warthog, blow up the brutes. I don't care about the story, especially when it's as convoluted as some of these Halo stories. Um, yeah, I don't remember what happened in the story at all, or what happened in the ending. I gave this a rating, a 3.5 out of 5. So a fun time, fun time. Swig a beer to the chief. Next up, the first handheld I beat. I'm sorry, the first handheld game I beat. English, pal. Last year, from what I remember, I didn't beat a game for the PS Vita. I'm a big fan of the Vita. I love the Vita. The Vita allows you to have Bluetooth headphones, Bluetooth earbuds. You hear that, Nintendo Switch? Why doesn't the damn Switch have accessibility to Bluetooth earphones or headphones? Come on, pals. Yeah, so I did not beat a game for the PS Vita last year. This year I actually beat one, so I'm happy. I beat Muru Masa Rebirth back in March. Some of the likes I put: great graphics, interesting story, good hack and slash. Some of the dislikes I put: backtracking, so a lot of backtracking, hard to find merchants. So yeah, there's in this game you'd be like at one end of the map, and I think you're collecting like orbs. I don't know if they're orbs or spirits, and you have to cash in like your orbs and your money to the merchant to be able to upgrade your character so you can have stronger attacks, like stronger swords. You have kind of like a tree, like a skill tree where you're upgrading it. And sometimes the merchants would be like on the other side of the map, so then you would have to go all the way to the other side, and it was just kind of tedious. Sometimes you would have to refight the enemies on that path, so just a little tedious. Confusing level up branch. Yeah, from what I remember, the level up branch, I it could just be a me problem, user error. I didn't understand some, like how I could unlock some of the stuff. So it could have just been user error. Button placement isn't the best. For dodging, you had to use the triggers. I kind of remember that was a problem when you're kind of in like the boss battles, and you would have to kind of, I don't know, maybe something with the using the triggers to dodge was a problem. I don't know why. Cause like I said, I beat this back in March. But this is one of those games that so I'm gonna give a little bit of self disclosure here. Um, I like to keep this channel kind of lighthearted, and I'm a jokester. I like to joke around a lot. I kind of don't like showing my emotional side to people, but this is a game for those that were kind of like part of my streams during that time, March. If you remember, I was kind of MIA, I think, for like a whole month. I took a break from YouTube, from streaming, and in a March, like late February, early March, because uh, my wife's grandmother passed away during that time, and she lived with us. And about that whole, I think it was a month or longer, I was literally like at the hospital, like I would say every day, pretty much every day. Um, I even had to take time off of work, so I would be at the hospital with my wife's grandmother. And I don't know if you guys have ever had a video game that kind of got you through a tough time. I think this is a game that I'm always gonna remember because of that time. Because in being in the hospital, it's all I took was my Vita with me, and I was literally just all day at the hospital because they would only give us like one update per day. Pretty much, the doctor would show up in the morning, he would give us an update, and then we just sit there for the whole day. So I remember, like, during the downtime, or when grandma was asleep, and I'm just, you're sitting there for hours and hours, and just waiting for an update in the morning, or we'd be sleeping there on chairs. I remember this is the game when there was downtime. I just get lost in the game and play the game until until the battery ran out, or until I got tired of playing. And yeah, so this is one of those games. I want to ask you guys, and you don't have to share if you don't want to, like the story, but I'd like to know, like, if there's any games out there that you've played in the past that kind of got you through a difficult time. Because for me, Murumasa Rebirth is definitely that game that I'm always gonna remember my wife's grandmother, because it kind of got me through that time, like the downtime that we had, all the stress we were dealing with. It was kind of like a little bit of distraction. So this game I dedicated to my wife's grandma, Irma. R.I.P. R.I.P. Grandma. And I gave this one a 3 out of 5. Yeah, sometimes I think as a man, I think as a male, we sometimes push stuff down. I'm definitely not a very emotional person, so I push stuff down. I don't want to really talk about stuff, but when you start talking about it, kind of stuff comes up. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to that. Next game I beat was Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 on the PS5. Um, wow, what can I say about Spider-Man 2? I love Spider-Man 1 on the PS4. Awesome game. Spider-Man 2, no exception. It's freaking awesome. Freaking awesome. The reason I got a PS5, this was my system seller. The PS5. I had to get a PS5 to play Spider-Man 2. Not gonna lie, I'm an Xbox fanboy, but I love Spider-Man. I've always loved Spider-Man. I love the first Spider-Man game on the PS4. I needed to get a PS5 for this. What can I say? Super fun game. Let me read some of the likes. Awesome graphics. Come on, PS5 modern graphics. Awesome fighting. It's you can web sling, you can do jump kicks, you can web someone up, you can combo them, shoot them up in the air. This game is awesome. Like, the fighting mechanics are awesome. Epic boss battles, great characters. It's fun, man. You get to play as Spider-Man, Peter Parker. You get to play as Miles Morales, and they kind of play differently. So Spider-Man is more, classic Spider-Man with the webs. Miles Morales has like a special ability where he can do like electricity. So that's fun too. And then, spoiler alert, you get to be Venom in this damn game. So you get to use like the symbiote suit and the symbiote abilities. And Venom is essentially like a Hulk version of Spider-Man. So super fun to play as Venom. Um, Dislikes. You know how I don't like filler? I don't like artificially making a game longer. This game, it had some filler. It had some filler. Some side missions are boring. I'm looking at that mission where you gotta cover up graffiti. You gotta cover up graffiti with a spray can. And very tedious. You're right there covering all the graffiti. And guess what? You're not even Spider-Man. You're not even Miles Morales. You're not even Peter Parker. You're like a freaking Miles Morales crush covering up graffiti. What the hell is that? BS. Look, Spider-Man. I bought Spider-Man to be Spider-Man. I didn't buy Mary Jane 2. I didn't buy Miles Morales Crush Part 2. I bought Spider-Man. I want to be Spider-Man. I'll at least give it to the Mary Jane missions. They were a little bit better this time. You actually got to use like a gun. In the first one, all you did was stealth missions. So I'll give the Mary Jane side missions that. But when I buy a Spider-Man game, I want to be Spider-Man. God damn it! Give them their own damn game. Side Miles Morales Crush, whatever adventures. Give her own game. Put that on another disc. Yeah, so there's that. The side missions, tedious and pointless. I put spray painting mission, side mission. That's just some filler BS. But I guess you could like say, well, you didn't have to play those side missions. You could have just played the main story, which is true. You can't just play the main story and avoid all those side missions. But I want to play the whole game. I want to play everything. So I did all the side missions. I did the Mysterio stuff. That stuff was fun. The Mysterio missions were fun. I forgot the name of the other one, but when you're fighting like you infiltrate places and you're fighting the gangs. That was fun. What's not fun is spray painting, covering spray paint. And those missions where you're like following these hawks, these like jet robot hawks. Those were BS too. It could be a skill issue too, but I hated those. Like you're chasing the hawk thing around and it's making sharp turns. You're like trying to keep up with it, and guess what? You can get close to getting to catching it, and at the last second you make a little mistake and you got to redo that whole thing. So F those side missions. Get rid of that damn filler. If you're gonna give us some side missions, give us some fun ones. These feel like just like throwaway side missions. I don't want to do those side missions. So this game honestly would have been a 5 out of 5 if it wasn't for those side missions. So I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Still, come on, man. Still an awesome game. It's still a must play, especially if you're a Spider-Man fan. Swig a beer for no filler in your game. Oh, by the way, I've been doing a bad job of showing the games I actually beat physically. I did beat Altered Beast physically on the Mega SG. And I did beat Spider-Man 2 physically on the PS5. I was only holding on to this game because I thought DLC was coming out for it. I hope I can be pretty oblivious, so has DLC come out for this? If it hasn't, or if it's not coming out anytime soon, I gotta sell this because usually when I buy single player games, if I beat them and I feel like I'm not gonna go back to them ever anytime soon, I'll just sell them. Because if I ever get the itch later on to play them, I'll just buy them again. Next game I beat. Speaking of games I beat physically, Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 on the N64. This is a Japanese import. I did beat this on my now sold Atomic Purple, Fantastic Purple. Is it Atomic Purple, Fantastic Purple? One of those damn things. I beat it on my N64, but now I sold it on eBay because the analog is making the analog 3D. I pre-ordered it. I can play stuff HD. I just played stuff HD on the analog 3D. So Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, I played through the whole. I think it's like the career mode. So I beat the whole. I didn't beat it because I think I was jobbing out at the end, but I got the end credits at the end. So maybe you can think of it as I got the bad ending. I got the bad ending in this wrestling game, but I went through the whole career mode, which I think it's like 1 year, or the year mode, season mode, as a Hakushi. Shout out to Hakushi, underrated wrestler from the 90s. Likes. Gameplay still holds up. I gotta say, gameplay wise, maybe not roster wise because I don't know all these wrestlers, but gameplay wise, I think Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, I think it might be my favorite N64 wrestling game. That's a hot take there, pals. You can do combos. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons. Like, some of the characters can do combos, like some of the MMA guys. Vader can do like his little stiff ass punches, and you can do like a combo. Super finisher. So this game has like super finishers where if you get your finisher meter, you can store it and set up for like a super finisher. So I think Vader super finisher is actually like a jackhammer. I think not every wrestler has a super finisher, only like some have super finishers. So having super finishers. Love the variety of the career mode. Yeah, so the career mode, or season mode, or year mode, whatever it's called, I liked it because you'd be like, I was in a tag team with the great Sasuke. So I was doing like tag team tournaments, and then I do like singles matches. I'd be in tournaments, and then they would throw you like in a round robin style tournament. Then they would throw you in like a battle royal, a Royal Rumble style battle royal. So I love the variety. I just love the whole variety. It wasn't just single matches. I love that stuff. We get wrestlers from Japan, so you get like, I'm not very well schooled on Japanese wrestling, but I know that you got Hakushi, you get Taka Michinoku, you get Hayabusa, you get a bunch of other guys I can't pronounce their names of. You get a bunch of like Japanese guys. Oh, you get Stan Hansen, which Stan Hansen is super fun to use because you can do that lariat and you can knock people out with that lariat. Super. It's a fun game. Dislikes, I suck. So this one, I blamed it on myself. Like, I think it's just a skill issue because I think I didn't play the career mode on medium because it was a little too easy. I upscaled it to, I don't know if it's the hardest difficulty, but whatever is after medium, I set it to that difficulty, and god damn, this game is pretty realistic as far as if you're fighting. So when I was fighting guys Hakushi size or smaller, I could typically get a win, but sometimes when I would wrestle like a Stan Hansen, a Vader, I was getting like whooped. Like, I couldn't slam them, I couldn't throw them off the ropes. They would counter everything. The struggle was real wrestling like those big Haas wrestlers. Bart Gunn, you son of a bitch. I could not beat Bart Gunn. I think I got him like once. Every other time he would whoop my ass, Bart Gunn. Yeah, so but I blame that on me. I think I just needed to get better with the combo, with the blocking, with the countering. My buddy, shout out to Zombie 13, I think went into one of my streams and was like, oh, you got a time, make sure you use your counters and the blocks. I think it's just a skill issue. Maybe I just need to play it more and learn the counter and the block system. But even then, 4.5 out of 5. Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. Do yourself a favor. If you're a fan of the Aki THQ wrestling games, figure out a way to play this game. This is a fun game. Swig a beer for the THQ Aki games. Alright, next up. Enough of me flapping my gums about wrestling. Senua's Saga on Hellblade 2 on the Series X. Yet another Series X game. I love the first Hellblade, Senua's Saga. Or was it Senua something else? Whatever. Hellblade, the original Hellblade. I love that game. This one, I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting more out of it. I was expecting more out of it just because I love the first one so much. Which, by the way, if you want to play these games, part 1 and 2, use a headset. Put on a headset. These games are meant to be played with a headset because the character, from what I understand, she kind of has some a little bit of psychosis. She has a variety of voices, and when you wear the headset, you can hear voices behind you. You can hear voices in front of you. You can hear voices on the side of you. Like the 3D audio is really awesome with the headset. Yeah, but this one, I don't know. Something was off with this one, but likes, amazing graphics and visuals, like the ocean. Yeah, I remember staring out at the ocean. I was like, just mesmerized, just looking at the ocean. Like, man, this is like realistic. This looks like like you're really looking at the ocean. Satisfying kills. So yeah, in this game, when you're fighting the enemies, you can do like a finisher on them. So the finishers are super brutal. Like you can stab a sword through them, like just cut off their head. Very gory, like very, very satisfying kills. Short game. I love me some short games. This is a short one, so I really I appreciate that about this game. Dislikes, puzzles have returned. Man, these puzzles are so boring and tedious. I don't like the puzzles in the first Hellblade. I didn't like the puzzles in this one where you have to find shapes and match them up. I just feel like it's tedious. It's boring. Don't dig the puzzles. No FMVs. What am I talking about? So I think I'm talking about in the first one. They kind of use like, I don't know what to call it, but they would use like a video, and if it was like of an actual actor, and they would mix it in with the gameplay. Like, so someone would be talking to Senua, but you could tell it was like an actual person. And I thought that was like really, really cool. This one didn't have that, so I was kind of bummed out about that. Either way, I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Probably one that I would not go back to, but I still had a fun time with. Next game I beat on the Series X, Halo Infinite. So this is the one that kind of, I guess, kind of on theme with Senua. Kind of was a letdown, a little bit of a letdown. I know this game got really trashed online, especially with the graphics. When they first showed one of the brutes, and the graphics were really bad on the brute. But I still had hope for it because I heard they patched it and they added co-op, which I love co-op. Shout out to Killer, Retro Ryan, and Billy. We beat this all together. But it was a little off, and I'll explain why. First of all, the likes, fun gameplay. So the gameplay is fun. It's still Halo gameplay. The shooting mechanics are good. Legendary was not unforgiving. So yeah, it was hard, but not annoying hard. Like, it was still doable, and it was probably because it was 4 of us, so it was easier. Always fun with friends. Co-op, always fun with friends. You know, you always have a good time. I always feel like playing games is always more fun with friends. What do you guys think? Are you guys more single player or co-op? Dislikes. Open world is dull at times. Yeah, so this one's open world, which at first was like, oh cool, open world Halo with 4 of us, we can get into a bunch of shenanigans. But it was sometimes we would just be driving for like a long time, or walking, traversing for a long time, and you wouldn't see anything. And I was like, what is this, Zelda Breath of the Wild? Yeah, I said that. Is this Zelda Breath of the Wild, where you're just like running through forests and grass? Like, nah, I was like, never mind. I don't like this open world. At least the way they did it. Just give me Halo. Just stick to the linear. Give us some action, some good pacing. I don't like this open world stuff. I remember Retro Ryan felt the same way. I put, let's see what else I put. Too many glitches. Oh man, this had a lot of glitches where we had to restart the stages. So just pretty unforgiving for a modern game that's been out for a while now. But I feel like it's almost like a trend now. Like, some games come out glitchy and they patch them and they fix them, like Cyberpunk. I heard Cyberpunk is now actually playable. But then there's other games like this one. It came out glitchy. We played it way after it came out and it was still glitchy. So it's nothing's more annoying than getting through a whole stage and then you get glitched out, and guess what? You had to redo that whole part. I may be mistaken, but I think we did that at least like 5 times. So we were getting pretty annoyed with that. Even then, I still gave it 3 out of 5. It's good. Would we go back to it? Probably not. Halo, just stick to the linear stuff. Swig a beer to when Halo used to be good. All right, next up, Yoshi's Crafted World on the Switch. So this is a game that was a long time coming. This game, I think I started playing with my friend Psycho T Tuna. Shout out to Psycho T Tuna. Probably in 2019 or 2020. So this is like 4 years in the making, and it's because we would just play. We would meet up, and sometimes we would play like an hour or 2 of the game, and then we wouldn't play it again for another 8 months, 10 months, a year. Play another hour, 2 hours, and eventually this year we got super close to the end, and I told my friend Daniel, we got to beat this game, and he's like, no, we're not beating this game. You're gonna keep this game forever. And he was saying that because he knows I purge. When I beat a game, time to go, time to get out of here. If I don't want to keep the game, and I told him I'm gonna sell this game as soon as we beat it. He's like, no. So he was kind of refusing to play it the end with me because he didn't want me to sell it. So I brought in my buddy Myra, who drew my Retrowave logo. I'll put it up here. My Retrowave logo. She drew that. She was over one time with my buddy Daniel Tuna, and I was like, hey Myra, come here, beat this game with me. It's just, I think my OCD was annoying. It was getting really on my nerves that I had this game for like 4 years and I haven't beaten it. So we beat it. This might be like, I think this and Broforce might be my sleeper titles of the year, meaning they kind of like surprised me how good they were. So yeah, really fun game. Not a game that I was expecting to like. When I first started playing it co-op with my buddy Tuna, I was like, oh, this is too cutesy. As you can tell, I have like Friday the 13th, all the horror guys. I didn't think this game was gonna be for me, and man, I think I've realized that I really like Nintendo platforming games, and this is a really, really fun platformer. I think it's more fun with a friend. I don't know if you can play more than 2. I don't think so. I think it's just 2 players, up to 2 players. But yeah, likes. It's cute. Retro Ryan, if you're watching this, it's a cute game. Co-op fun, easy but not too easy. So yeah, it's pretty easy game. But there's some parts where you do like the boss battles and stuff. It gets a little bit harder. You gotta learn the patterns and stuff. But not super hard either. Yeah, fun boss battles, awesome visuals. So everything's like in the style of like what's crafted. So like crafts, like paper mache, cotton, like yarn and stuff. So really, I mean, Nintendo, we all know Nintendo does a good job at, with the limited graphics, they make stuff look good. Dislikes. Sometimes co-op can feel clunky, like shooting eggs. Oh yeah, so in this game, I would just jump my friend Tuna's Yoshi character, and I would be the guy shooting the eggs. But sometimes it's a little clunky. It's a little clunky to like target stuff. So yeah, but it's kind of like nitpicking. Rating 4 out of 5. Like I said, this was a surprise title for me. Really fun one. If you're a fan of co-op games, maybe you have a wife, a girlfriend, even though I played this with my heterosexual friend. If you have a wife, girlfriend, play this game with them. It's a fun one. Swig a beer for playing cute games with your friends. Next game I beat, Castle Crashers on the Xbox Series X. I beat this one. I beat this one with Killer, Billy, and Retro Ryan. 4-player co-op. This is one of those games I always wanted to beat back on the 360. I just never got around to it. I would just play like 1 or 2 stages and kind of drop it. I think it's because I always wanted to play a 4-player co-op. Likes, co-op, upgrades, so you can upgrade your characters, get like new swords, new weapons, level up their strength, level up their magic. Funny humor. The humor is pretty good. Doesn't take itself seriously, so it takes a lot of jabs at itself. Short. Notice a trend here. I like short games. Keep it short. Dislikes. Online was glitchy. Yeah, so sometimes it would like boot us. We couldn't get the match started. It was a little glitchy at times, but yeah, it was fun. Fun time. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Next one, Doom on the Series X. So this is the old school Doom on the Series X. This was actually Killer's idea. So I played this with Killer, Retro Ryan, Billy, and a revolving door of people. Yasuke Supreme, Low jumped in there. Shout out to my guy Coro James, shouting in the background, shouting in the back of the class. With my buddy Coro James, a bunch of other people joined us. So this one was my buddy Killer's idea, because he's like, hey, you know what, we should play Doom. They just added 16-player co-op. I was like, oh, that sounds crazy. Let's play that. So we played it. Some of the likes, awesome remix version of the music. So yeah, there's like the 16-bit style music, but then there's like remix HD versions of those songs, and man, the music is freaking awesome in these Doom games. You got to give it that. Cool graphics. Yeah, cool old school graphics. Dislikes. What's the deal with looking for all these key cards? Yeah, so this game just felt like look for a key card, look for a door. Look for a key card, look for a door. I feel like that's all you were freaking doing. It's just like looking for key cards, looking for doors. And this could be an issue of playing the 16-player mode. Sometimes all the enemies would get wiped out. So all I was doing, and some of us, were just looking for the key cards and looking for the door. Because there's so many players, some of these guys, looking at you, Coro James, would just kill everybody, and then we wouldn't have anybody to kill. So we're just like tediously looking for key cards and looking for the door. I was not a fan, at least of playing through it this time. 2 out of 5 for me. I never played them back in the day, back in the 90s, but I don't know. Maybe it just had to do with the style of gameplay that it was with 16 players, but not a fan of it. 2 out of 5 for me. Next up, Super Mario Bros. Wonder on the Switch. Yeah, I beat this on the Switch, streamed it. Likes, fun, cool graphics, fun. I added fun again. Power-ups are creative, like the elephant Mario, like I kept calling it the bubble bobble Mario that shoots the bubbles and you can bounce off the bubbles, or I think you can trap enemies in there too. So man, Nintendo, from what I realized, they know how to do fun. They know how to do fun games. Dislikes, too easy? Question mark. That could have been my issue. I think I put it. I didn't change the setting, but I think I might have made it like open world or like open invite. So sometimes people would come in and help me. So I would like die and they would revive me. I would die, they would revive me. So it felt a little too easy. I felt maybe a little cheap on my end. Repetitive boss battles with Baby Bowser. Yeah, you're just like fighting Baby Bowser over and over and over, and there wasn't a lot of variety there. But man, super fun game. 4 out of 5. I had a lot of fun with this game. I didn't play any of the new Super Mario Bros. Games on the Wii or Wii U, or Super Luigi Brothers, because I didn't own those systems or care to own them. Now I'm kind of like, I hope they make, I think they have, right? They made versions for the Switch. Maybe I gotta try those out, because I had a fun time with this one. Super Mario Wonder. Next game I beat, Doom 2 on the Series X. Very similar thoughts to original Doom on the Series X. We also played this 16 players. Likes co-op. Co-op is fun. When you're shooting stuff, when you're getting to shoot stuff, it's fun. When you're getting to blow up stuff, chainsaw the enemies, it's fun. Slightly better graphics than the first one. Dislikes: looking for damn key cards is tedious. That's what these games felt like, looking for key cards. I gave this one a 2 out of 5. Next game I beat, Night Slashers on the Series X, the remastered version. My buddy, the Professor Tylord Stevenson, came over. We went to Monster Palooza, and he came over, and I think he gifted this game to me. So shout out to him. He gifted this game to me. When he came over, we beat it on couch co-op. Super fun game. This is one of those games that I'm like, how did I never know about this game? It's beat 'em up. I love beat 'em ups, and it's horror. I love horror stuff, but I didn't know about Night Slashers until like a couple years ago. Likes, updated graphics. The graphics are really cool. Fun beat 'em up. You're freaking DDTing Frankenstein. You're DDTing Pinocchio. This is a fun game, man. Fun bosses, like I said, you fight freaking Geppetto and Pinocchio, Dracula, Frankenstein. You fight like all these monsters, really fun. Dislikes, none. It's a fun game. I got no complaints with this game. 4 out of 5 for me. Next game I beat, Left 4 Dead 2 on the Series X. I beat this one with Killer, Starkey Plug, Sanctum Starkstorum, Dad Level Podcast, Vince over at Dad Level Podcast. I hadn't played this one in several years. Vince, Stark, and Killer and I were talking about, hey, let's play this game again. Super fun game, man. Super difficult in that mall where you're trying to get all the gas canisters and stuff, but this is a fun game, man. I love that in this game you have to play as a team or else you die. So I love that about this game. No going Rambo or else you're going to cost your team the match. Likes, co-op fun. You have to play as a team. It still holds up. This game still holds up. I forget the name of the game, Back for Blood a few years ago with Killer. Fun, but there's something off about it. It does not feel like Left 4 Dead. So hopefully Valve gives us a Left 4 Dead 3 at some point. Satisfying gunplay. The gunplay's fun. Dislikes: where's part 3? My dislike is, where's a damn third sequel? Give us a sequel. Rating. Damn, I didn't even give a rating for this one, but I'll give it a 4 out of 5. I love this game. Fun game. Next game I beat, The Real Ghostbusters on the arcade on my Raspberry Pi. Oh man, what can I say? Well, let me just read my likes. My one like. My like, it's called Ghostbusters. I like the Ghostbusters. So it's called that, so I like that it's called Ghostbusters. Dislikes: repetitive music. You just hear the damn same. Don't get me wrong, I love that Ray Parker Jr. theme. You just hear this damn song the whole time on a loop. So annoying. Repetitive gameplay. No actual villains from the movie. Yeah, you don't fight the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. You don't fight Zool. You don't fight anyone from the damn movies. You don't fight Slimer. You don't fight anybody. There's these characters. I'm like, who are? There's some characters that look like they're like KKK members. I'm like, none of these characters were even in the damn movie. I felt ripped off playing this game. I gave this game a 0.5, so not even a 1, a 0.5 out of 5. The 0.5 is just because it's called Ghostbusters. Yeah, next game. Next game I beat was Retro Realms Halloween on the Xbox Series X. So this is a 2-pack. I honestly only got it because I wanted to play Halloween. Like I said, I'm as you can see, big fan of horror stuff. I wanted to play the Halloween game. It looks like 16-bit fun. Um, super fun game. Some of my likes: super fun concept, 16-bit style graphics, lots of gore. So you get lots of gore, kind of reminiscent of like a Splatterhouse a little bit. You're like, you dice someone, you see all the blood splatter, you can cut them in half. um Fun Easter eggs, yeah. So there's some Easter eggs, I guess not Easter eggs, but like fun little like homages, tie-ins. Unlike that real Ghostbusters arcade game, you actually fight characters from the movie. Like you fight his sister Judith, like a ghost demon version of her. You fight Laurie Strode. You fight Dr. Loomis. I shot him 6 times. I shot Michael 6 times. You actually fight characters from the damn movies. Dislikes, few checkpoints. That could just be a skill issue again. I was like, God damn it, this game was kind of, it's tough. Maybe for like retro players. I know Mega Dan 29 did an NDR of this. For retro, like really good retro players, like a Mega Dan, like a Mazin Power, like a Sandwich, like an Omega, like a Celestial, like a Alpha Nerd, Mr. M, like those guys, I'm sure it's no issue. But for me, a pretty mid to lower tier retro player, it's tough. So that's just a small little nitpick, but it's just one of those things where you just got to get good. You got to get good to get through it. I still thought it was not like super hard, not like some of the older, not like some old retro games, you know, not like Friday the 13th on the NES. I gave this one a 4 out of 5. Had a fun time with this one. Last game I beat for the year. Yeah, this is the last game. Game 22. So I beat my score of how many games I beat by 2. I believe last year I beat 20. You can go watch that video. I'll put it on one of the little cards at the end. I believe I beat 20 last year. But the last game I beat, game number 22, Outrun 2019 on the Mega SG on the analog Genesis console. Man, this game was fun. I gotta give a shout out to CM Retro. This is a game that I actually played as a kid, and I think once I beat it this time, I'm like, I think I did beat it because I remember the credits. But I played this as a kid. I think CM Retro had said he wanted to play it. We were gonna work out a trade some point this year. The trade didn't go through. I think David Stern canceled our trade. So I just sent him the game. I was like, here, I have an extra copy. You can have the Outrun. He beat it, and he was kind of giving it praise. Like, hey, this is a fun game. Like, short, but it's a fun game. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to play it. And he was saying it's not too hard, which my ears perked up. I'm like, maybe I can beat it. Maybe I can beat it. So I played it, and sure enough, I beat it like within 2 hours and a half, 2 hours or so. Fun game. Some of the likes, awesome music, man. The music in this game, top notch Sega Genesis music. Awesome graphics. Graphics look great. You got the backgrounds. You got like space. You're like in cities, in the farmland. Really cool graphics. Cool futuristic look to the car. It's funny because it's Outrun 2019, which is like 5 years ago. And I'm like, hey, where do we have these cars with the freaking jet blaster in the back? We never got those cars. Not super difficult, so it's pretty, you just keep playing the stage. You figure out like where to go and how to dodge stuff and where you got to turn. You figure it out pretty quickly. For someone that's like a really good retro player, no problem. For me, that I'm kind of mid to lower tier retro player, I still beat it. It just took me maybe a little bit longer than someone that's really good at retro games. Dislikes, 0 dislikes. I gave this a 4 out of 5. Yeah, so that's 22 games. 22 games I beat. So let me right here on the side put a chart or a little list of the consoles that I own and how many games I beat for each console. Because honestly, my goal as a gamer is to beat a game for each console I own. I feel that sometimes as collectors, we buy consoles just to get them. We buy games just to get them. and we don't beat them. So my goal is always, if I own a console, I gotta beat one game for it per year. I failed. I failed very hard, as you can see. I failed. So I beat 22 games. 14 of those games, over 50% of the games I beat, were on the Series X. What can I say? I'm a fanboy of the Xbox. It's my favorite. The Series X is my favorite console. I love the controller. It's my favorite controller. I love the offset sticks. My buddies play on there. I got Killer, I got Billy, I got Ryan. My buddy Pmerk now got a Series X. Stark has an Xbox. Dad level. So my pals, they play on the Xbox. So it's my favorite preferred console. But still, 14 games. I think I could have done a better job of spreading out, sharing the love. So on the Switch, I beat 2 games, Mario Wonder and Crafted World, Yoshi's Crafted World. On the PS5, I only beat Spider-Man 2. System seller, the only reason I got a PS5. On my Raspberry Pi, I only beat 1 game, that was the Real Ghostbusters. On the Mega SG, I beat Outrun 2019 and Altered Beast. On the N64, I beat 1 game, that was Virtual Pro Wrestling. On the Vita, I beat Muramasa Rebirth. And then I did a bad job. OG Xbox, Fat PS3, Xbox 360, Dreamcast, and the GBA. I beat Goose Egg 0. That's bad. I'll at least excuse myself for the GBA and the Dreamcast. Shout out to Tylord, he gifted me both of those consoles. I haven't had those for super long. Well, the GBA I got it in in June. But at least the Dreamcast, I've only had it for like less than a month, so I didn't have time to even set it up to play it. The GBA, I started playing through Super Mario. Is it Mario Advance? I started playing through Mario 2 on that Mario Advance GBA cart. I think I'm almost near the end, but I just didn't have time to pick it up and beat it. So my goal is to beat that Mario 2 this year. I've also picked up Bot and Camp Krusty, so hopefully I can play that one. Super Mario Land 1 and 2, I think Wub sent those to me, so hopefully I can play those. Dreamcast, I need to play something. So this year, my goal, beat at least 1 game per console, or at least get as close to it as I can. I'm really bummed out I didn't beat a game for the PS3, my OG Xbox, or the 360. But I think I know why I didn't have a chance to do that. So in talking about that, let me get to my game of the year, like I've done every year since 2020. I think I started doing this in 2021. My game of the year that I beat this year, it's gotta be Spider-Man 2, man. Spider-Man 2, despite the side missions, despite the filler, it's still the best game, man. That game is freaking awesome. And it's kind of funny because I beat 14 Xbox Series X games. I'm admittedly an Xbox fanboy. I only beat 1 game for the PS5, but you gotta give credit where credit is due. That's the best game I played this year, Spider-Man 2. So shout out to that game. Runners up, if I were to give like a second and third place, I'd actually give second place to Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 on the N64. I'm just basing it on fun factor. I had a lot of fun with that one, and that's what and a game I would want to get back to. Like I would jump back to playing that with my buddies. I think I have played it with my buddies. When Billy and Tylord came over back in June, we were playing that. We had a lot of fun with it. Cheap ass Billy was choosing that MMA guy and just doing ground and pound on us. And then if I would give a third place, I think it would be Super Mario Wonder. That was a fun game. Just fun. Nintendo knows how to do fun. It was fun being that elephant dude and knocking down everything. You're kind of like the Hulk, Mario Hulk, running through everything. The Bubble Bobble version of Mario. It's just fun, man. Just a fun game. my dud of the year, because I've done like my not so favorite game of the year. We'll call it the dud of the year. It's got to be that real Ghostbusters game, man, on the arcade. You know, when you were like, for people that grew up like my age, older, maybe a little bit younger. I'm in my 40s. You know, when you would go to the arcades and your mom would give you a quarter, and you would pop it into a Street Fighter 2. You would pop it into a WrestleFest, Simpsons Arcade, TMNT. You know, you'd lose that. You know that you'd probably die in the second stage, right? First, second stage. You would go to mom. Hey, can I have another quarter? Can I have another quarter? You want to keep playing, right? You want to keep playing. If I were to get a quarter to play the real Ghostbusters arcade, and I died, and my mom offered me, hey, you want another quarter? You want $1 to keep playing? I'd be, Mom, I'm good. Keep your money. Save it for the laundry. I wouldn't even want to play this game after the 25 cents. This game was terrible. Sorry, this game sucked. I don't know if there's any fans of the game out there. Let me know in the comments. I know Retro Ryan told me Big Family Gaming, BFG, is a big fan of this game. I guess beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I thought this game sucked. Yeah, but that's it, guys. Another year in gaming. Lots of fun times playing with you pals, like co-op. I gotta give a shout out to, we also do community game nights. Hey, we gotta talk about like games we can't beat, you know, like Call of Duty. We just started playing Call of Duty Black Ops. We were still playing Fortnite. Mario Kart, not as much, but Mario Kart, all the horror ones like Killer Clowns, Texas Chainsaw, RIP to Friday the 13th. We can't beat those games, but we put a lot of gameplay into those too. So shout out to those multiplayer games that you can't beat. Speaking of games you can't beat that have an ending that I just could not beat, Friday the 13th on the NES. Shout out to Zombie JLT1. He really tried to help me through it. I got through day one. But sorry, buddy. It's just a skill issue. I just could not beat the game. But who knows? Maybe I'll give it another shot this year. Another game I couldn't beat, Shinobi 3. I'm currently playing through that. I was hoping to beat it in maybe in 3 weeks. I couldn't. It's not a super hard game. Like, I feel like I can beat it if I just keep playing it. But I'm gonna bring in some help, and Maz and Power's gonna kind of talk me through it. He's gonna kind of talk me through it like Zombie JLT did for Friday the 13th. So hopefully, I feel like I should be able to beat that one. Hopefully by the end of January I beat that one. Yeah, so those are two games I could just not beat. But yeah, still a fun time playing some video games, single player, co-op with my pals, multiplayer with my pals. Yeah, but that's it. Thanks for watching the videos, guys. If you guys got this far into it, here's the last swig for you guys. Keep gaming, play what you want to play, have fun. Until next time, later, pals.